Okay, just waiting for some people to join here before we get started. If you've joined the live stream, I encourage you to ask questions, use the chat, send me questions, send me commentary, tell me what you like, what you don't like. Let's keep the forum open. So what I have here are laptop battery packs. These are lithium ion. They have 18650 cells in them. I've already taken a few apart here. That's what they look like. Okay, I'm going to get started here, starting to take apart some of these packs. Start with this big guy here. So this is a 5200 milliamp hour, 58 watt hour pack. Not sure what this came out of or where it was destined. This is rated at 11.1 volts. So I'm guessing there's probably 6 cells in here. 6. Let's see. No, it wouldn't be. It could be 6. Yeah, just 6 maybe, or 4. I guess we'll see. Hi, Margaret. How are you doing this evening? Okay, so there's no real trick to doing this. But actually, before I get started here, for those that may be curious about why I'm doing this, I build off-grid electronic projects. Recently, I built a portable power bank, and essentially that was using a kit that was similar to a small tackle box, if you will. And in that tackle box, I had maybe close to 150, 180 of these here cells. And the idea being that it was small and portable, and it had a USB connector. It had a 12-volt accessory connector, and you could connect things into it if you're out camping or off grid for the day. It had about 100 amp hours in there. That's why I had so many of these 18650 cells. And so that's the sort of projects that I do. And here's just another example of that, where I'm harvesting from these laptop battery packs here. Now these happen to be new. I purchased these locally, and so I've started to harvest a couple of them already. Actually cut my finger, so it's a bit of an adventure to get these open. But each pack is different. I got several varieties here, so I find it interesting. It kind of takes my mind away from my work and other things. So I'm just here picking away in my little workshop. So thanks for joining me. And if you have any questions, yeah, let's use the chat to ask away. So I see Autry here. Autry, yeah, those are 18650s. So this one here, for example, is a 3.7 volt. This is a lithium ion, and 9.25 watt hours just in this one cell alone. So I don't know how many I got here now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 already, and I started a little while ago. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can use them in the vape machines. I use them for off-grid projects. It's essentially anywhere. Actually, let me show you another project. I'll get it So if you have those small Dyson vacuums in your house, they are probably going to have a battery pack that looks similar to this. Okay, so this is a battery pack that came out of a Dyson Animal. I think it was a V6 or something. And inside of here, you'll find a number of these 18650 cells. So you could choose to do this yourself. You could take the pack apart, gently, not like I did here, and it just comes apart. And you can just desolder the old cells, put some new cells in there, and away you go. So that's an example of where you could use them as well. Okay, let's jump right into it here. So like I said, this is somewhat of an art form. It's no science to this because all the packs are different. The main thing that you want to do or try to avoid doing is damaging the inside cells. So there you go. This one came apart pretty easy. So I'm going to use this little plastic thing I have here. I use this on my vehicle to disassemble some of the paneling. So it's plastic, it's flexible, and it allows me to get in there and wedge the plastic apart here as part of the case without damaging the cells. More times I damage myself than I do the cells because the plastic is sharp, depending on how much force I'm doing. Now that one came apart real easy. That was simple. So there you go. That's an example of the 18650s. Now this is brand new. So I think I paid about maybe $5 for this entire pack. Brand new 18650 cells. So there's 6 of them there. And sometimes when you see these on the market, depending on the specifications of them, they can go for as much as $10 per cell. And I have 6 of them right there. Okay, so just to dissect this pack a little bit here for you. So 6 cells, lithium ion. Okay, this thing here is a BMS. This is the battery management system. And the way this is connected to a typical lithium setup is you have these packs here, which are either connected in series or parallel or a combination thereof. And then you have the pack positive and the pack negative over here. And then these individual wires are called balance leads. And what they do with the help of the BMS is they regulate the amount of charge going to each one of the cells so that it doesn't go under or overcharge. And it's got some other safety measures in there too. Sometimes what you'll also see is a thermistor or a small wire that measures the temperature of the cells. So you don't want to be able to charge these or overcharge them and they get hot, or charge them when these cells are very cold. That's also a bad thing. So it sort of manages that for you. But we don't care about that. We're taking them out. So, okay. The next thing I'm going to do here is start to snip away these wires. So there's this is not diffusing a bomb or anything. Maybe I shouldn't say that on YouTube, but anyway, here we go. So there really is no particular order. I'm just going to go through and snip them. So I'll take that one, the balance leads. Okay, the next thing is, it looks like I can just simply pull these apart. And you'll see here now, if I can get a little closer, this is where you'll see the way the cells are connected. And so this is called a nickel strip. Let me get something to point to it. This is called a nickel strip. It's a highly conductive material that's often used to connect lithium batteries. And what happens at the manufacturer is that they lay down this strip, and then there's a laser spot weld or a high voltage weld that's applied to each one of these, and it fuses the nickel strip onto the cell itself. So we have to disconnect each one of these, but we have to be careful because, first of all, when we're tearing these apart, we don't want any shorts to happen, electrical shorts. But secondly, we don't want to hurt ourselves. These nickel strips are very, very sharp, and depending on how you cut them, today I've actually cut my finger on them. You just need to be careful. Just take your time. Be careful. No, this is not a race a race here. This is not a race. This is a marathon, or I should say, not a sprint, a marathon. So here we go. So in this case here, I'm going to cut this guy apart so that I can get at the cells. So I'll take my little snips here. I want to get in there, and then just applying gentle pressure to take them apart like that, and I will repeat the process, cleaning them up as I go a little bit here, taking some of the tape off. And again, I'll repeat the process for this guy down here. Now, depending on how familiar you are with the pack, you can also just gently pry them apart like this. And then what that does, if you're lucky, is it also takes away some of the spot welds that you'll often see here on the bottom of the cell. So I'll lay that down, take this apart, and I'll do the same thing. So I'm pulling it apart. And there you go. And so now the next part of this is cleaning up. So what I'll do is I'll take my tin snips here, and I'll just gently start to peel away the nickel plate that's fused onto the cell. Now you may be asking yourself, why am I going through all this trouble? Well, as I said earlier, if you didn't get what I was saying about why I do this, first of all, these things are cheap if you take them from the battery packs. There's different types of battery packs. There's laptop battery packs. There's also modem battery packs. UPSs often use these type of cells. So old scooter batteries, they often have these cells as well. So if you can find any of this, you can harvest them. And even though the scooters or the UPSs and so on, they may not be able to use them because they're not at full capacity. You can use them for any number of projects. 80% capacity is oftentimes what you'll see from a used pack before you'll see someone throw them away and typically get something else. And that's why you see a lot of folks that are actually going for the used packs, because you get 80% capacity off of the cell, and you can get these, either someone will throw them away in a large battery pack that you have to disassemble, or you buy them really cheap. I've seen them as low as 25 cents, or if not lower than that, per used cell. Okay, just going to continue on to clean up here. And there's no real order. Heck, I could even just wait until I get all of these disassembled and then clean up. But I might not do all of these tonight. Just going to focus on what I have here and to show you guys what's involved in case you're interested. Okay, that one's nice and clean. Again, this one is a 7.92 watt hour. Don't know if you can see any of the, see if I can get the light to stop reflecting off that. Put it with the rest of them. And what I'll do is I'll just tap my finger on top of the cell. That's way I know if there's a little jaggy piece there, that when I put the next piece of nickel strip on top of this for my project to spot weld it on, that it makes a good contact. And if I just touch it gently, I can feel something rough there, and I can see it. And I'll just come in and I'll snip it away a little bit. There's another one right there. There you go. Another clean cell. Okay. It looks like I have to take some tape off first to get at this. It's hard when you don't have any fingernails. Not very long ones anyway. Okay. All right, so this one, I'm just going to start peeling away the nickel strip. There we go. Peel that back. And do what I did before, just pull gently apart like that. That's beautiful. There's no little jaggies on that one. There's some jaggies on this side though. Okay, Clean cell. Next one. Okay, that one's clean. And another clean one. Goes pretty quick when you start. Okay, this one here I'll pull apart. So while I'm pulling this apart, I had another project I did last summer. It was for our RV, and we replaced the lead acid batteries in it with lithium batteries. And instead of using batteries like this, I ordered some prismatic batteries, which are large squares that hold a lot of capacity. And I ended up, so if these are 9.2 watt hours, and I forget the capacity of this here, it can easily be figured out because the voltage of these cells is 3.7 volts. But let's assume it's like a 2000 milliamp or yeah, a 2000 milliamp capacity on these cells. What I built last summer for the RV was a battery that had 270 amp hours. So I don't know what that is, 270 million or 2.7 million milliamp hours or something like that, something crazy. Anyway, a lot of capacity. But the typical projects that I'm doing now are smaller in scale and just more portable. Okay, got that cleaned up. All right, I guess I will attempt taking apart a different one. Okay, different design this time. We'll just scan it here for a bit to see if there's a better way to take it apart. All right, let's just jump right into it. So I'm not seeing any real way. I see a seam going along here, but am I going to get lucky to be able to put this guy in? Oh wow, look at that! Just got in there. Don't know if you can see that. So we're just able to get into the seam there. And I'll push it forward. Bingo. This is where I got to be careful because I don't want to cut myself. All right, that's apart. Now it's just a matter of pulling the plastic sleeves apart. Probably better if I had gloves on for this. There they go. Oh, there we go. Came apart. I was a little rough with that one. Okay, that's what we got. 4 new cells, small BMS. But we don't care about that. So we're going to take these apart, same way as we did before. So we'll snip the wires. And you get the idea here. This will be all rinse and repeat if you were to do it yourself. Just like one big sausage. There, look, connected. Just got to pull them apart. Put that right there. And now to clean them up. So these batteries will be used in a project, in an upcoming project. And I'll be also posting that as well. I haven't decided whether I'll be doing some of that build through a live stream, or if I'll pre-record it and post it. I like the idea of the live streams because I like sharing and people asking questions and getting ideas in real time. It's very helpful. Okay, that one's clean. What is this one? Okay, 3.7 volts at 8.14 watt hours. It's hard to see that, I know. So I haven't decided on what capacity the new project will have. So this will be the same as I built before, a small portable battery pack that you can take out, camping or day trips. It'll have a 12-volt accessory connected. It will also have fast charge USB connectors um, and some other smart features to aid in safety and to also understand what's happening with the pack. Some Bluetooth app stuff. So you'll use your app to check the battery, the health of the battery, what is it doing at any given time. Just taking some of the old sticky tape off there. And continuing to clean up these little jaggies that are left over from the spot welds for the nickel plate that connects the battery cells together. Okay, there we go. Another pack disassembled and cells harvested. Okay, let's see what happens here. I'll give this one a little size up to see if there's an easier way to get it open. I don't really see a good seam. There's a seam right there. So that might be my way in. Or maybe not. That seems really tight. This could be challenging. Something came off there. Now, something gave that time. I was just twisting it like this, just twisting it. And what that did was it opened up the seam there. That could be the trick for this one, or for this style, I should say. Boom, look at that. We're in. I think I see some glue in there, which is making it a little bit more difficult. Ah, there we go. A little persistence pays off. Yeah, turned upside. Maybe it'll fall out. Or not. Okay. What do we have here? Okay, so we've got 6 cells. That's great. There's the BMS. Go ahead and take that apart. We've got some connected in series, some connected in. That's interesting. How they've connected the. We've got dual nickel strips connected there. Interesting. I wonder if that was a mistake during manufacturing. You don't normally see that. There's 2 connected here, 1 connected there. That's curious. But like I said before, we're not interested in that. We are only interested in the cells. So let's start taking this apart. I'm not too worried about shorting out. What I'm touching here, this was all welded together. So I'm not too worried about, moving this metal clipper down here because, this is all connected anyway. And this is where I got to be careful. Yikes, because it is sharp, just like that. And if I pull it apart, there, and I got a little puncture cut there. Okay, it's all part of it. Okay, let me start to disassemble this stuff here. Okay. Disassembling here now. Okay, there we go. Okay, we'll continue to get in there and start to disassemble again. So, and then we'll clean up after. So I'm just going in and disconnecting all of the cell connections. So now we got all the cells separated. They look ugly at this point, but that's okay because now we're going to go in and actually clean them up. I guess the first thing I'll do is take some of this tape off because that normally gets in the way. Then we can see what I'm working with then at that point. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to take this nickel strip off here, off the positive connector. Okay, that's the first round. It's not entirely clean, but I'll get the, I'll clean it up more after I get through this. Yeah, I did puncture myself just a moment ago. And again, these little, you can't really tell from here. Let's see if I can get closer. But these nickel strips, they are deadly. They're so sharp, especially the way I'm disassembling them, because I'm just ripping in some cases, and it just leaves tiny little spikes that will catch your finger. But because they're so sharp, they only bleed for a moment, and then they stop. I'll make sure I get some alcohol, some disinfectant on them later. So just taking off the little tabs in here. I can feel some jaggies, so I'll come back later and I'll clean those up. Leave that right there. This one's got a big jaggy, which I know will only catch me in the finger if I don't get it. I'll forget about it. Just going to continue through here to take all of this junk off. And for those that may be joining and really are not understanding what I'm doing here, these were laptop batteries, brand new, that I purchased. And I'm harvesting the lithium ion cells that you see here from each of these packs. And these lithium ion cells, they look just like this. They kind of look like very large AA batteries. The form factor of this is called 18650. So that's the size, how these batteries are referred to. And you'll see these in many home appliances or portable appliances. Here's a Dyson battery pack right here, and this was for our Dyson Animal little portable hand powered vacuum. So in here you'll see a bunch of these as well. So if you keep the old battery pack and you replace it, let's say you've gone and purchased something from Amazon or wherever to replace your battery pack in your appliance, if you keep the old case like this, then the next time that your battery pack dies, you could simply just go find a couple of old or new laptop battery packs, take them apart, and then gently solder them into place where the old ones are, and there you go. You've just renewed your battery packs. Or there's lots of applications for them. And what I plan on doing is building a portable power station. I've built a couple of those already, and I've been using them for various purposes, camping, off-roading, things like that, where you need portable power. It's like having a very large portable power battery bank that you would get from any store or online. But you have the option of building whatever size you want. And so in the battery packs that I build, I can put different types of features on them. They could be powering home appliances as well. Small ones. Maybe if you wanted to bring, I don't know, a small coffee maker with your campground, or maybe you wanted to plug some lights in, fan, anything. You can build that into your portable battery pack as well. But mainly, I do this not for anything but just to tinker around in the shop. Now I could go through and clean these up more, but it's a diminishing return at some point, right? Because they're just going to go straight into another project. I mean, they're not for looking at. No one's going to see them. And as long as you can make a good solid connection when you build your new pack, that's all that really matters. But of course, if you're like me, you take pride in your work, and you like to do a good job. There you go. Another cell harvested, and the last cell for that pack. And you just touch that right there, and I know I could really do a number on my finger. Perfect. Nice and clean. Making good progress here. Okay, so what do we got left here? This is, let me see if I can get you guys to look at that. So there we go. This is a what size? 11.1 volt, 5200 milliamp hour, or 58 watt hour. Brand new battery pack, never been used. So let's figure out how to open this up. I think this is not unlike what I just opened up. Kind of looks the same. So the last one I twisted it just a slight bit. Oh yeah, and it sort of unlocks itself from the sleeve. Yeah, you can feel it just wants to come apart. Yep. So then I should be able to get something in here. The last time I did this, I was able to get this plastic piece down in here, disassemble it that way. Ooh, what happened here? Let's see. This just came off. Curious. Oh, well, if you look here, I did not know that from the last one. That certainly makes things easier. So here it's exposed itself. So now it's just a matter of adding a little brute force in here to pry open the remainder of the pack. And again, why I'm using this is I don't want to damage the cells like that. Don't want to do that. So do as I say, I guess, and not as I do. Yeah. Okay. See if I can tackle this from another angle. That's much better. Here we go. That's what I'm looking for. Now I should be able to just be able to take this out gently. Okay, maybe not so gentle. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid a couple of things from happening. I don't want any shorts, electrical shorts that is, and I don't want to slice my hand. Okay, this one is putting up a fight. That's okay. I'm just going to clip these wires off. It'll come out that way. I'll leave the BMS in here. That's just the BMS. I don't need that anyway. That's proprietary to the laptop. Okay. Or I should say it's proprietary to the battery pack, and we're not using the original battery pack. All we want are these cells. A lot of taping different places here. Okay, we have them somewhat disassembled. Okay, these guys come apart as well. And again, I'm taking these out of new laptop battery packs. So all of these cells are brand new, never been used, and they're going into a different project. So rather than making their way to a landfill, they're going to see a new life. So I guess you could say I'm doing my part for the environment. Although that's not my primary reason. Probably a little bit more selfish than that. Although I do like the idea of these not going to the landfill. So if you have any questions, anyone online, if you want to ask, please ask away. Another clean cell. So as you can tell, there's no real special tools for what I'm doing here. Just stuff I have laying around, a couple of snips. These are really micro snips for small electronic projects, which I like because they have a flush surface that you can get down close to the battery and snip away the little jaggy parts that come off when I pull these apart. I really can't show, they're so small, but when you put your finger on them and you're not expecting it and it goes in your finger, yeah, you try to avoid that. So I see one right now. You can't really see it on camera. I don't think I can. I don't know if you can see it there. If I move it around, it's a little piece of metal sticking up, and that has to come off anyway because the new nickel strip, when it gets attached and I put the new pack together, it has to make good contact. So all of this stuff has to be cleaned up. That's good. Yeah, Autry. Yeah, it's certainly well. I don't want to show you my hands because they look ugly, but I've got so many little spots here where I've already stabbed myself, and that's just since I started doing this during the live stream. But like I said, they're so sharp that they're in and out, and you don't know what's happened, and then you see a little bit of blood coming from your finger. I don't want to scare anybody away from doing this because it's just because I'm not being careful. I'm just being quick. You can do a better job than I'm doing, and do it more safely, and not have that happen to you. Okay, last pack. Let's see what we got here. Let's see if you can read that. Okay, this one looks to be 14.8 volts and 2600 milliamps for a total of 38 watt hours. Okay, I'm going to twist it like a motorcycle grip here, and hopefully it will reveal itself in its weakest point of where I can take it apart. Wait a moment. Look at that. I did not realize that. Okay, that's what you're seeing, the cells right there. So now if I twist, oh yeah, it's starting to give. And it should be fairly easy to take apart. It should be. Like I've found out the hard way a couple of times is sometimes it gives up a fight. If you've ever had shellfish, and you've used something to get the shell open. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. You got to crack the shell to get at the good stuff. Okay, now, am I going to be able to do this last one without stabbing myself again with those little sharp pieces? You know what? I'm just being dumb here. I should just really take my time and not stab myself. Okay, again, little sausage pieces here. They're all connected either by a balance lead or the nickel plating that connects all the cells together. And then this is the BMS that we will not be needing. Not for my project. I'll be using a different BMS. One that has Bluetooth connectivity and a whole bunch of intelligence to tell you what's happening with the pack, and you can control it and program it. The last four. Ooh, that one came off really clean. I don't know what it is, but it's the little things that make you happy when you're involved in a job like this. The least amount of steps that you can do to get the job done and have a good product at the end. I think that's what you strive for. There you go. I see one of those little jaggies which is waiting to stab my finger. I got you. Okay. What's this cell? This is a 9, exactly, a 9 watt hour exactly. What these don't tell you are the milliamp hours. You can easily calculate that because you know that the cell itself is 3.7 volts, and uh, the watts, the power that it produces. Put it in the calculator, and you can determine how many milliamps that is. Because volts times amps equals power or capacity. In this case, it's watt hours. So if you had 3.7 volts, and I forget what it said, something to the effect of 9 watt hours. So if you say 9 watt hours divided by 3.7, that'll tell you how many amp hours you have. Then you just convert it to milliamps because it'll be so low in amps. You'll want to convert it anyway. It'll tell you that way. Audrey, do you wrap those? Yeah, I do. I use Captain tape. So exactly what they've used, the manufacturer. See this little piece of looks like gold colored tape? That's called Captain, Kapton, and that is high temperature tape, non-conductive, high temperature tape, and very strong tape. So when you build your packs and you spot weld them, and maybe I'll show that spot weld. Now, I won't do one, but I'll show you typically what I do to spot weld them, just to give you an idea before we close the stream. Then once they're spot welded together, then you wrap them in your Captain tape, and that's mainly just to protect the battery itself from anything outside, like making connection and probably shorting it. But also it helps with the expansion of the pack. So by using the Captain tape, because it's very strong and non-conductive, and heat, it has a heat property or heat resistance property. As the packs expand and contract as they get warm and cold, then it protects the pack as well. Uh, when they get frayed at the end, I wrap again. Oh yeah? Yeah, I also wrap. I don't just wrap around the pack. So if the pack was standing like this, I don't just wrap this way around the sides. I wrap all the way around, so it's almost hermetically sealed. Not quite, but as close to it as I can get. I also use, if you guys are familiar with batteryhookup.com, they they produce fused nickel plating for 18650 cells. And essentially, what that is, and I'll show a picture in a moment here. I've got some. What that is, when you spot weld your cells together, there's always a chance, with anything like these, that there could be a short in the battery that causes a run on and produces heat, and then essentially the battery catches fire. So what you want to do is eliminate the short as quickly as possible. So by having a fused wire, it's called, that connects the cell itself into the, I'll call it a bus plate, or essentially the way that all of the electricity is being conducted across all the cells. If you can do that with a fused wire, then if there is a short, it actually will produce heat along that small piece of wire and burn that piece of wire out, and therefore um, this now becomes a non-conductive cell in the pack, and it just eliminates the pack run on or the extra temps going to the other battery cells. So essentially eliminates any flare ups or fires that way. Okay, so I've got some clean cells. I've done all the packs here now. I'll clean up all these cosmetically later. But let me get my other two things I want to show you before I end the stream here. My spot welder and my fused nickel plating that I got from Battery Hookup that allows me to connect all these together. I'll be right back. Okay, back again. Okay, this is my spot welder, and I'll give you an idea of how this works in a moment. This is bonus content here. These are all nickel strips that I've cut, so they allow me to create any particular configuration I want, so I can spot weld them onto here, similar to the ones I've just taken off. And then I also have this. This is special nickel plating, or nickel fused plate. So essentially what this is one continuous sheet of nickel, and you see these little fused wire connectors here. It's hard to see it in the reflection of the light here, but when there's a short in the battery, it produces high heat. And similar to a resistive piece of wire or a resistor, this tiny piece of wire here, it will generate a lot of heat because of the short, and it will burn this piece of wire, therefore disconnecting that one cell from the rest of the pack, so there's no run-on condition. I highly recommend that you check this out from batteryhookup.com. I believe this is their own patented way to connect the cells if you were going to create your own packs this way. Very safe, and I feel confident that when I build packs using this, that should there be a short, that it's only that one cell that gets shorted. This will burn out and disconnect that cell from the rest of the pack. Okay, so when I am spot welding, I'll put this, let's pretend that this piece of nickel is that fused wire. I will put the fused wire there. This end of the spot welder gets connected to a battery. And then I'll come along and I'll just place these two probes down on the nickel plating, pushing pressure against the cell. This produces a high voltage current, a high voltage, um, it completes the circuit for high voltage, and it will shoot an arc down through the nickel plate and fuse it onto the top of the cell. And that's it. That's simple, and it becomes very strong, as you saw when I was pulling them apart. That's exactly what happens at the manufacturer. Okay, that's it. That's all I have for this evening. Thank you to everyone who took the time to join me on the live stream. Wasn't quite sure if this was anything anyone was interested in seeing, but I had to do it anyway, so just wanted to share. And hopefully, anyone who's watched this or will watch it back in the replay will learn something about this. If you have any suggestions, if you do this a different way, or if you want to ask a question, please leave them in the comments. The only thing I ask is, share the video if you like it, share it, hit subscribe, and please join me on my next live stream where I will show you more about what I'm doing with these packs here. So, with that, thank you very much, and I'll sign off from there. Thank you.